Oh, Kevin Feige sees a beehive. Let's go stab it with something. So yeah, Kevin Feige, the man in charge of Marvel Studios, recently, as part of an interview, he was more or less asked, what advice do you have for other struggling studios trying to get their cinematic and shared universes off the ground? A lot of implications were made that they're kind of trying to ask him in a backwards way about Lucasfilm, right? Because apparently Lucasfilm putting out a few movies and making $4 billion already is somehow bad. Go figure, right? Yeah, so Lucasfilm is apparently in trouble, and Kevin Feige was more or less asked, what advice would you give to them? And he had a very simple answer. You know, it's different circumstances for everybody involved. You can't really expect the same thing everywhere. But one thing he did say that I think is very important is talking about how it's important to be at like ground level, you know, be in there with them, kind of almost like fighting, like a soldier, right? A soldier knows what another soldier goes through. The man is sitting in Washington watching it behind a monitor, telling the soldier what to do, doesn't know what a soldier does, right? He's just giving the orders because he's part of the, you know, the higher ups. He's never been there. So that's kind of the thing he's saying. You know, if you want to understand how hard this is and how it works, you got to get down and dirty. You got to get into the thick of things. You got to understand it. And of course, like I said, he mentioned circumstances. Marvel Studios was at the right place at the right time. And that's really what helped them in Iron Man 1, you know, succeed, because people were ready to move past what was being offered for superhero movies. And Iron Man just looked interesting. And it took off. And then so did the subsequent other franchises that they were putting forward. And I think that's really a good piece of advice to kind of give to everybody, and I think that's what he's saying. Maybe just take a chance, you know, a chance at something crazy, right? Like, who knows what's going to work and what's not. A surefire thing cannot always be a surefire thing. Batman v Superman, you know, Warner Brothers was looking at $1.6 billion. Made half of that. Justice League, they were looking over $1 billion. Barely made half of that. So you can't always bet on your biggest franchise. Sometimes you got to take a risk. It might, you know, it might pan out. I mean, Rogue One, a movie with nobody we know, made more than Solo, a beloved character. Once again, take a risk.